Hey guys, welcome to the Feel Good Podcast. My name is Phil, co-founder of Fastic, the world's largest fasting community, and I'm really happy to say that we are back this year in 2023 with amazing guests. We've got leading health experts, celebrities, and last but not least, our heroes from the Fastic family, sharing their stories, their life-changing stories with us, and I just really can't wait to get this going again. So today I want to start with a topic that is also addressed to the New Year's resolution of a lot of people, or resolutions that they try to keep, and that is keeping a balanced nutrition. So I'm really thrilled today to be joined by Lisa Booth, Fastic's own registered nutritionist and health experts with over 20 years of experiences in helping people with their health and their overall well-being. So Lisa in general is in charge of Fastic's recipes, but also part of our content team, and she will be going to share her expertise on the importance of balanced nutrition for overall health and well-being. So as the saying goes, what I think a lot of you know is we are what we eat. If that is true, I guess I will be looking like a potato due to the fact that I've got German roots and the dinner I had for the last 3 nights was based on potatoes. So I'm actually happy to say that this saying is not really entirely correct, but what we put in our mouths has definitely got a huge impact on our health and well-being. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to include a healthy, balanced, but definitely tasty diet. But that's not all. Obviously, we want to explore how balanced nutrition can also go hand in hand with intermittent fasting. So grab a nourishing snack, whatever you like, or maybe just some water, and join us as we dive in the world of balanced nutrition. Hey Lisa, lovely to have you here.
Hi Phil, thank you so much. That was such an amazing introduction, and I don't think you look like a potato, so maybe keep trying.
I'll give it my best. I hope I don't turn out in one, but yeah, I'm really excited about the episode today and hearing your input. You told me that you're currently living and also recording this episode on a houseboat, right?
That is true. So I just took a couple months to travel. I went to Thailand and Spain and Portugal, and I just moved back to where I live in Amsterdam, and I got really fortunate. I'm currently living in a houseboat. So I do apologize if you guys hear a bit of a noise in the background. It's just part of the joys of being in a rocking and rolling housing situation.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So I guess I'll have to call you Captain Lisa Booth today, right?
Aye, Captain Phil.
So, sounds good. So for everyone listening, could you tell us a bit about yourself and how it was for you growing up in a family where food was love?
Absolutely. So just like you said, I've studied nutrition and everything health related for about 20 years. It stemmed from being overweight as a kid, and in my family, food was considered to be love. So, you know, I would come home for meals, say for instance, I went to college and went back home, and it was just the way that my family showed their appreciation and connection. But unfortunately, as a result, like I said, I got quite overweight, had a disconnect from my body, but it's also what stemmed my passion for nutrition and health, because I went on a journey to feel good myself, and I wanted to share that with others.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to dive in deeper later because it sounds very interesting, but I would like to start off with the first question from our community, what's been asked quite a lot regarding balanced nutrition, and that is, what is balanced nutrition? Could you dive a bit deeper, maybe tell us what the different food groups are and what role they play in maintaining a healthy diet?
Absolutely. So I think balanced nutrition can mean 2 things. On one hand, it means keeping a balance in terms of not being overly restrictive. So making sure to enjoy food and life because, it's such a pleasure of living, but also balance in the sense of including different food groups. You want to have a balance of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and making sure to include fruits and vegetables, because when you have a balanced diet like that, you feel nourished, you're getting all the nutrients that you need, and you can have vitality to live as long as possible.
100%. I definitely agree also with what you said, that you should still enjoy it, right? And make sure that it's also fun on the way, because food, and especially healthy food, I think has always got the stigma of just eating plain green salad, so to speak, but there's so much more to it, right? And you can experiment and really enjoy and have fun with it. At least that's how I feel about it. I guess you do the same. So maybe you've got a few examples of a balanced meal or snack you do yourself.
Of course. This is actually one of my favorite things to teach about nutrition, because with so much information out there, it can get so complex and overwhelming, and a lot of people don't know where to start. And I don't blame it. It's so much information, but good nutrition is actually quite simple. The way I think about balanced meals, for instance, for breakfast, I'll include, like I said, the carbohydrates, protein, fat, and then a fruit or vegetables. So for instance, for breakfast, I usually have eggs with whole grain toast, avocado as a healthy fat, and then I usually have it with greens or a piece of fruit. But this concept can be translated into all kinds of meals and snacks. And again, it's so simple. So you're going out to eat. Say you're at a Chinese restaurant. You can ask for more wholesome brown rice, and you can have it with tofu for the protein. You could have it with vegetables and a bit of the oil, and then to make it even healthier, ask for the sauce on the side. So again, it's just bringing it to basics and incorporating those different elements.
Yeah, definitely. And what I think is also so crucial is that to remember that it's obviously very individual, right? I mean, everyone has a different taste, everyone has a different body, a different gender, different goal, reacts to different foods. So really making it fit to your lifestyle and obviously to you as an individual. Would you go along with that?
1000%. I think that's something that I also learned, because in my earlier studies of nutrition, it was a little bit more one size fits all, saying, each person needs this amount of nutrients, you should eat X amount of calories, things like that. But I ended up doing my master's in holistic nutrition because I started to intuitively feel that it's not a one size fits all. And it's absolutely true. I mean, even we're all different person to person, but we also can be different day to day. For instance, maybe if there's a period of time where you're recovering from an illness, you'll need more protein. Or say if you're exercising more, then you're going to need more carbohydrates. So again, it's very individualized, and it's also figuring out what you need in certain phases of your life.
Yeah, so true. This is also something we have as a philosophy at Fastic, and I think makes so much sense because, like you said, one size fits all. That was something what got taught, especially in the past, but is just not fair on people. And with all this information out there, I think it's so crucial to let people know that, and also give them the chance to find what fits to them and what also resonates, right? Yeah. So maybe we can dive in a bit deeper on how balanced nutrition can benefit overall well-being.
Yeah, of course. So it can benefit in terms of keeping a healthy weight, but it goes so much beyond that. Say for instance with the principle of fasting. I mean, technically you can eat anything you want during the eating window, but say if you end up eating chocolate cake all day long, you're probably going to have quite peaks in energy and then dips, end up quite tired. You might be cranky. It might interrupt your sleep, things like that. So food goes, again, so much more beyond just maintaining or keeping a healthy weight. When you have the balance of food and, say for instance, different fruits and vegetables even, you're going to get a variety of different nutrients. So you want to have the different colors incorporated. You want to have that balance. And something I think is quite interesting is, some people are quite strict with things like organic fruits and vegetables. But if you do have a variety, you're actually exposing yourself to different levels of pesticides by having that different variety. So it's again good just to incorporate different types of food, different fruits and vegetables, switching it up and keeping it balanced.
I've also realized that for myself, for example, my sleep quality, that really also depends what I eat, and of course when I eat. I usually try and stop eating 3 hours and start my fasting window before I go to sleep, but also what I've had before for dinner really plays a massive role. I know that you've also, when it comes to nutrition and well-being. You went through a rough phase, like you said at the beginning in your life, but came out very strong at the end. It will be interesting, especially for people who also maybe have suffered similar things, to maybe share some advice on how you went through that phase and got out of it.
Definitely. Well, yeah, just to, also relating to what you said of kind of realizing, if you eat certain foods late at night, it can interrupt your sleep. I'd previously mentioned I came from a background where food is love. I ended up getting overweight and then didn't know the right nutrition, so actually backfired and would restrict my body quite a lot. At the time, I thought it was healthy to have I remember going to Starbucks and having a non-fat frappuccino and a low-fat muffin, thinking that was going to be a healthy option. But I would have that, then typically not eat during the day. And by the time I got home, I was ravenous and starving. So I would end up just, stuffing my face. And then I would feel so full and sick before bed that I would have trouble sleeping. And then next day starts and it would be all over again. So I had to basically get quite in tune with what made me feel good, really listening to my body and trying to have those balanced meals and snacks, or otherwise I would just crash.
Yeah, makes so much sense. I mean, it's also very difficult, right? Especially intuitive eating and being more mindful, listening to your body. I mean, that is a challenge, right? And it's good though that you've accomplished that and have found the right way to you. So what do you think would be like if you can share like one advice for people who also suffer from that?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a lot of I would say the individual approach and just figuring out what works best for you. And it's part of the reason I really like intermittent fasting, because it gets you in tune with, okay, am I actually hungry, or am I eating for emotional reasons? Am I eating enough during the eating window? Am I feeling energized, or is this meal making me feel bad? And it's also, I guess, just a big word of advice is, just taking it as what works for you versus what is the current fad diet, or what even friends are telling you, or what other people are telling you, because it's really truly individualized.
It definitely is. I totally agree. And I mean, when it comes to weight loss or fat diets, especially at Fastic, here again, we really try to make sure through intermittent fasting that we, like you said, also try and get the people to have a feeling to their body. I mean, especially nowadays, it's been lost because we live in such a fast time, right? It's difficult with all the cravings, what surrounds us, the fast life, and really separating or actually identifying cravings from actual real hunger, or maybe even emotional eating. I mean, I'm definitely one of these people when it comes to emotional eating. If I'm stressed in private life or at work, I see myself then, without even thinking about it, grabbing to certain things I would actually not choose if I would not be emotional in that moment. So what really helps me in general, like I see the nutrition next to fasting as my North Star, what just guides me along the way. So really making sure that when it comes to nutrition, I also plan ahead for my week, but also don't restrict myself. So really keep it flexible, so that also from a mental side, I can just enjoy it, but also know, hey, these types of foods are really doing me good, I feel good, and also, like I said at the beginning, they can still be enjoyable, right? It doesn't mean you have to chew on lettuce without anything. There's so much variety you can do and actually taste better than processed food, at least in my opinion, without obviously saying, hey, chocolate is bad for you. I think even chocolate is good for you, but it's obviously now and then, right? And not, like you said, every day and all day long. So
I was just gonna say, I love the point you made about how chocolate is okay, because another thing is, I mean, sometimes emotional eating can be okay. And a big word of advice that I give people is, if you're having those cravings and things are happening, just try to eat a wholesome meal first and then see how you feel. And then you can differentiate, okay, is this because I'm hungry? Maybe I just want chocolate, and that's fine. And you can enjoy it as well, but just almost have that base of having that wholesome meal first and then see if that craving is still there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think I will try that out myself because like I said, I am guilty of that, but of course it's also there not being too strict to yourself. We are emotional human beings,
Absolutely.
obviously, at the end of the day, and that's totally fine. And I think it's important not to beat yourself up, right? I can definitely resonate with that because I've also been through things like that. But like I touched on before, at least that helps me. Please correct me if you see it different, but like planning meals ahead is also helpful because you then, instead of when you do have cravings or large hunger and then you grab a snack you might regret later on, planning has always helped me for going through the day if I've had done the shopping already, have the meals at home. So maybe you can share your thoughts on that, and if you do so too, how you go about planning meals for the week ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've all been there, going to the grocery store when you're starving after a day of work or school, and any good intention goes out the window and that candy aisle is just calling to you. So we've all been there. But what I find really works for me is keeping staples on hand. I'll always keep some frozen vegetables, and back to the simplicity of that balanced meal. I always keep frozen veggies, so that's my vegetables. I'll keep some kind of dry grain like brown rice or whole grain pasta, and then some type of protein. So either something like beans, or I'll keep frozen shrimp or frozen chicken on hand. So that way, if I am having a really long day and I'm home, or, I'm home and I want to order takeout, it's there and I can just whip up something really quick, like an easy stir fry. So I find having staples on hand, and then also batch cooking I think is really nice. And that's batch cooking is cooking a big portion of an ingredient and using it for different items through the week. For instance, like having a batch of whole grain rice, and you can use it, scramble it with eggs in the morning, or you can have that stir fry for lunch, or you can have it just put it in some soup for dinner, so you can really use it to the best of its ability.
That are really good tips, because also they sound very time efficient too, right? Like I said, with the fast life we lead in general, it's like it saves time if you also prepare something beforehand, and it's just like a little fix, right? That you can for, like you said, for example, do some eggs to it, but then you're good to go. And I think that's definitely useful to take. And when it comes to time in general, as you know, also being part of our team, intermittent fasting plays a huge part at Fastic, but also for our listeners out there. So what can you tell us about balanced nutrition and intermittent fasting? Like, what do you recommend, for example, for breaking a fast? What is important there?
Yeah. Well, in general, you want to fuel with balanced meals throughout the day, because it's going to help your body do what it does best. Intermittent fasting has so many benefits on its own, but you want to make sure to support your body in helping with all the processes while you're resting. When you're waking up and easing back, or maybe, whenever you're going to be breaking your fast, think that your digestive system hasn't been working, so you want to ease it in. So maybe do something a little bit more gentle, easier to digest. A little bit of protein, for instance, like eggs or yogurt might be nice, and having it with some more complex carbohydrates. Something I really like is to have yogurt with some sliced banana, and if I feel, sometimes I'll put a little bit of nuts on it. But if you're breaking your fast with a really heavy meal, it can feel quite intense right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we've all been there, right? That we've fasted and then had so much hunger that we just break it with a heavy meal and feel that feeling a bit later. So I think it's definitely a crucial part of fasting to notice how your body feels when you break your fast. Obviously here it's individual again, but it definitely makes a lot of sense what you said. I also try and stick to that when I break my fast. Go with a salad, go with a handful of nuts, but even like you said, a yogurt is also a really good idea. And I couldn't agree more. So I would like to dive into this topic because I find it so important. We addressed it a few times now, and just that making balanced nutrition is really individual and obviously has to fit to your lifestyle, because at the end of the day, at least that's what's key from my experiences, and everything was got to do with health, and not just health. I guess it's based on everything you want to optimize or positively change for your life. Is just consistency, right? So that really makes it crucial that it fits to you and your lifestyle. So I would just like to go into a bit more why it is important to make balanced nutrition work for you individually, for your needs and for your lifestyle, because I think that a lot of our listeners, at least I've got a lot of comments, what I've read, they really find it hard with all this information out there to find out what really fits to them. So maybe you've got 1 or 2 tips that you can share how you would go about, or what you would advise the listeners to actually find out what fits to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's that concept of keeping nutrition and healthy habits simple, and also plugging it into your life. So I would recommend just looking at how you typically live in general. So say, for instance, if you wake up and you feel quite hungry, you like to have breakfast, maybe you like to work out in the morning, then maybe something like an earlier fast time would work better. Whereas some people have later shifts and, they don't even get hungry in the morning, and that's fine. It's fine to start the fast later in the day. So again, really plugging it into your life. And then also in terms of nutrition, it's making those little tweaks that work for you. Say if you're a big pasta fan, I mean, I am too. It's just making the tweak of having something more wholesome. So instead of doing white pasta, maybe doing the whole grain. Maybe you like to go out to eat. That's fine. Can you go out to eat and choose a healthier option, or maybe not get a drink with it? So again, it's the way to plug it into your life versus doing a complete overhaul. Because when you try to do a healthy habit that doesn't fit with you, it usually doesn't work out.
I couldn't agree more. Especially in the past when I was younger, I tried out so many things, so many diets that were really just more harming than good, because it just didn't fit with me, and I also just tried to force it to keep it going, but that just led to chaos and to tears at the end of the day. So I think it really is important to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And something I always tell people is your body always wins. So even if you're trying to do those crazy crash diets or crazy restriction, it most likely will end up backfiring in terms of regaining the weight if that's something you're working on, or just going back to where you started. Plus, not to mention, you have that almost like guilt that gets tagged onto it, but it's not you. It's the diet, or it's the restriction. It's that it's not working for your lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And definitely lovely information and great input you gave. So thanks so much, Lisa. I really enjoyed talking to you and hearing about your view on balanced nutrition, and also how to incorporate it in your daily life for you as an individual, and obviously combining it with intermittent fasting. In general, I would just like to tell you too, it's a joy to have you here in our team at Fastic, not just as an expert, but also as a person. I think you've got a great vibe. So thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you so much, Phil. And thank you for sharing some of your experiences today as well. It's really nice to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely wish you safe travels and a really lovely time on your houseboat. And of course, lots of fun, enjoy, and maybe see you next time again on the Feel Good Podcast. That would be awesome.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Phil.
And for everyone listening, thank you for tuning in into our first podcast in 2023. I hope you really enjoyed this episode and are as excited as I am that the Feel Good Podcast is finally back. If you want more information on this topic, check out the Academy in our Fastic app. And thanks for listening, and have a healthy and balanced day. Love.